Hey there, it's Eugenio here, and today I really wanted to bring a topic that I absolutely love, especially for the whole online space, which has been one of the main drives of my quick success in the online space, and not only for me, but for all my clients. And this is honestly one thing that most people neglect when starting off an online brand. And honestly, if you do have limited resources, this is for you. This is the difference between a normal brand and the really successful brands. You might be wondering, why on earth should I listen to this guy? Well, I'm Eugenio Zabell. I'm the CEO and founder of Workaway Incubator, where we add an extra 30 to 100K. If you're an e-commerce store making anywhere between $20,000 to $50,000 per month, and you wish to add an extra 30 to 100K in the next 6 to 9 months, feel free to click the link in the description, and we will be able to have a chat to determine if we are the best option to help you grow your brand. This video is to help you understand the importance of one element, and this element is data. Data is the biggest competitive advantage the online space has, yet everyone seems to neglect the great importance data has. The truth is that those brands that really use data in their favor have such a huge competitive advantage. At the end of the day, we've seen this time and time again, where brands that neglect data, they start implementing and they start understanding a lot more about their business. The main difference between a traditional business and an online business is that in the traditional business, obviously you will have, for example, I will say a fashion store on the street, where you'll have people walking by, but there's really no real way to accurately predict what are the amount of people that go by, the amount of people that enter your store, the amount of people that have an intent of purchasing. Therefore, in the online space, you do have that, but people don't tend to use it, which is quite impressive. And this is what people call growth hacking. When you are growth hacking, you're basically just using data in your favor to really hack the growth of a business. And honestly, I've seen this time and time again. I've seen brands that have an insane amount of traffic, but suddenly they've got a step in the middle where they just, like, everything plummets and they've created a lot of friction towards the end process. And they just are able to fix that small thing, and their whole funnel just basically gets extremely leveraged, and they are able to really increase their sales. So honestly, this is extremely important. So what type of data should you gather? Well, the answer is everything that does have an impact on the end result. Well, for example, if you're trying to increase your sales, it's extremely important that you get every single step that can be of importance to actually get those sales. Well, for example, how many people have landed on your landing page? How many people have viewed the product? How many people have added to cart? How many people have initiated the checkout? How many people have actually purchased? How many people have actually purchased repeatedly? Because at the end of the day, when you analyze that data and you know how many people fall off on each one of those steps, you know how to act and how to improve. Like a very typical thing we see with many brands is when, for example, they get a big layoff of people when it comes to the add to cart, because they've added to cart and, for example, they've seen that there's extra taxes or extra shipping or things like that. And they just turned off because they say, look, I was already going to pay 50 euros for this. I'm not going to pay an extra 10 or 20. We saw this with a client the other day. When you know that, you can find a solution and you can probably create an offer to increase the average order value or to do other things. But you cannot just limit yourself to see what happens and hopefully pray for the best, because that's not how this works. And honestly, in my case, at our incubator, the big difference we had at the start, when we had basically no resources when we started off, was the access we had to data and the importance we gave to it, because that allowed us to really build a successful strategy in a very short time frame. And I saw people that had been working for years with the same strategy, and they hadn't tweaked anything because they didn't know what was working and what didn't work. Because to do so, you need data, you need congruent data. And honestly, it's a pain in the ass. Because with e-commerce, yeah, you can do it with Shopify, you can do it with all these kind of things. But in my case, I've got like 10 spreadsheets of Excel where I track every single part of the business. And honestly, I spent a lot of time, but it's a huge investment. There's a very good phrase I really like that it says, if you're an e-commerce store and you don't spend 30 minutes a day reviewing your data, you're doing something wrong. And later it says, and if you're an e-commerce store and you don't have 30 minutes of data to look at every day, you're also doing something wrong. Therefore, that should really give you a bit of an insight, because data is king. And if you don't give importance to data, you're basically neglecting your best friend in the online space. And without data, it's just like shooting in the dark. And it's extremely important that you're able to really nail down all your business. And data is just equivalent to feedback. They're just not saying it with their own voice, but like their acts or their actions are really backing that up. And many times that feedback will be a lot more precise than what a person could tell you, like spoken to you, because at the end of the day, like that data really reflects the reality and the truth of your business. So I really, really encourage you to start focusing on data, because honestly, data makes a difference. Unless you've got unlimited amounts of money to just pull into a campaign or whatever, which you still want to optimize, therefore you will still need data, you need to focus on building a very congruent backup in terms of, you really need to back up your decisions with data. So really focus on gathering data, building a consistent and reliable strategy. And that will honestly give you the best tips for growth. Better than any mentor, better than any guru, better than anything. And just to wrap it all up, I want to give you a small example. When I started off, I actually signed up for a couple pretty top-tier mentorships where I spent anywhere between $15,000 to $20,000, euros, so probably a bit more. And the truth is that I had a system that I based on my data that was working very well. And each time I enter a mentorship, I just changed it, because I thought, if this guy says he has achieved this, then results must be better. And the truth is that every time I changed it, my results got worse. Because at the end of the day, everyone can tell you what they believe can be the best solution for you, but your data will just reflect the truth of your business. And when it comes to entrepreneurship, there's not a one size fits all, and there's not two businesses that are the same. Even though they're in the same niche, they're doing the same thing, the same business, the same service, but they're not two businesses that will succeed in the same way. Therefore, data will really allow you to know what will allow your business to succeed. And finally, if you've enjoyed the video, you find it helpful, I would really encourage you to click the like button and subscribe to help me out, hopefully as much as I've helped you. So I wish you an amazing day, and I'm really looking forward to see you soon. Bye-bye.